Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
What is up, beautiful people of the world? My name is ExZac Change, and I'm happy to be here today with my guest, Anthony Naseeb.
What's going on, everybody?
Ah.
I'm fucking happy to be. Can I cuss on here?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking happy to be here, man.
Sick, bro. Yeah, we've been talking about it, kicking it around. We've rescheduled it, I think, a couple times.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're taking off to the Great West.
Yes.
To Seattle.
Yes, sir. You know, it's been something I've been thinking about for a while. A lot of aspects played into it as far as family, work. You know, you gotta think about all sorts of things. And I'm young, you know, so but at the same time, going with that, there is, I mean, a fuck ton of things I got to put into place, whether it's living or finances or family situations. You know, this is the first time I'm going to be away from family. So, you know, it's a big thing for me. And plus, I don't really know, you know, I know a few artists out there and, you know, I'll be comfortable, but it's not like I'm going out there like I'm here or something like that. I don't know everybody. So, but at the same time, that's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, Anthony Naseeb is here. I'm happy to be here, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So you tell me a little bit about like your early life, man. Like you from Spokane?
Mm-mm. So I was born in Northridge, California.
Oh, okay.
And me and my family moved up from there to Republic, Washington. It's kind of by Colville, in between Colville and Canada.
Okay,
really.
yeah.
Real small town, couple thousand people. So, you know, humble beginnings. I was really into like dirt biking and stuff like that. Music even wasn't really a
you
thing.
had that great outdoors.
Yeah,
type
but
shit
the
out in
funny
country a
thing
little bit.
is that even being in that small town surrounded by so much country and everything, I would go to the fair and stuff like that and go to the county fair and everything. But I would get, you know, I don't know if you remember back in like 2004, 2005, they had like 50 Cent. He came out with his watches and they spun.
Yeah,
They had a little dollar sign on that shit. Fuck yeah. So I would go to the fair and like everybody, you know, they sold cowboy boots and the cowboy hats and everything too, but you know, it was just like, man.
That's
like
not what you were gravitating
Nah, bro.
towards.
I was grabbing the fucking watches and the hats and wearing my shit like this.
Bro, that's when
and
everything
doing
was
whatever.
spinning back then, bro.
I know, bro. The rims, it had to be the watch, it had to be everything.
Yeah.
Had my head spinning.
That's so dope, bro. It's crazy how like things come into kind of like popularity
Definitely.
and then they fall out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's kind of crazy with the people that make things popular, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I think it was like Latrell Sprewell was the basketball player, and he's like, you had the spinner, son. He's like, yo, you got to get them Sprewells.
Yeah, I
then-
mean, some places you still see them like real popular and everything. Even around here, I don't see too much spinning. I see a lot of bouncing.
A lot of
You know,
bouncing.
yeah.
Dude, one
Whole
thing
lot
that
of
I've
bouncing.
noticed is that there's not a lot of like subs. Remember when there was
Yeah.
a lot of subs, a lot
Yeah.
of people bumping?
Yeah,
I don't
just
really hear
dumping. I
people-
mean, I'll hear it too much, you know, because I live on the north. Like you, I mean, wait, this is considered the north. This is all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
north.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
North Town.
Yeah, I gotta get my coast right.
Yeah.
But I mean, over here I hear it a little bit, but you know, I used to live out in the valley. I've only lived out in the north since about March. Was when I moved out here. Like I said, I'm young, man. So I lived with my mom for a while. Went to high school and everything. Dropped out about 16. Did music and everything, and came back. Got my GED around 19. Started working and everything, and I've been working ever since, and just kind of building up to.
So
this
you
kind
were
of stuff.
you were living up in Republic as a
Mm-hmm.
kid, and then what kind of like bridged the gap? Because obviously you were listening to hip hop when you were up
yeah.
there, but what kind of bridged it to like where you started making music?
I think what it started with rock. I mean, because that's what it is. Even the hip hop stuff that I do is very rock influenced.
Okay.
Rock and roll, baby.
Dope.
But you know, that's what it started with. Really, is just a lot of rock and roll stuff, and I would do screamo stuff. You could still I'm gonna say this on here. It's kind of embarrassing, but I don't give a fuck. You guys can look at it. It's humbling now because you know I'm past it. I make music now. But even when I was 13, 14, you could look up videos. It's called The Mosh Pit on YouTube, and it's me just screaming my ass off, bro. Absolutely just going fucking.
No, that's awesome,
But it was
man.
cool because I'm good at it. I still do it and everything, but now it's at like a serious level. You know, there's
So
no
you
reason
still do
Oh,
screamo
of
and
course,
shit?
of course. And a lot of the music that's coming out, and we'll get to that later and everything. The project I'm working on is very rock influenced. There's some hip hop stuff, but even that has singing on it different. Even not even the vocals, it's just the rhythm and the different things that even come into the beat and the vocals every 8 or 12 bars that really supply something that is rock influence.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
rock is even kind of like a wide genre, just like
Yeah.
hip hop, right? 'Cause there's
Yeah.
like all these little genres, like screamos in there.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, you got like old school, like rock and roll, which is like
Yeah.
rock. So, but yours is more kind of like heavy.
I'd say, yeah, like that punk rock, sort of earlies to late 90s punk rock. A lot of, I mean, shit, let me think. if we're talking like past 2000s.
What were some of your influences with
I mean,
rock?
honestly, what's cool around here, what got me into a lot of the screaming stuff, it started with punk rock before that, which a lot of that was a lot of, simple stuff. Started out 3 Days Grace. I went to 2011 Warped Tour here, and they had Avenged Sevenfold, Seether, Bullet for My Valentine, 3 Days Grace. And then I kind of worked my way into, obviously, I didn't even know too much about Blink-182, but it was my stepdad at the time, around like 13, 14, who really got me hooked on that.
Yeah, man, all that punk rock, that was like the time for punk rock, bro, back then, when it was just all fucking, we was bumping Sum 41 and fucking all that, bro. Fucking Papa Roach,
Yellow
son.
Card is what I was into. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. That's, so, and then, like, where did hip-hop come into play in there? Like, who were you listening to early on with hip-hop? Like, who was that? What was that thing that really made you be like, man,
yeah,
like, I'm trying to,
no, yeah,
go in that direction?
Honestly, it was once I moved out here and, I got to the bigger high school. I went to Central Valley High School for about a few years. And that was different for me because, even when I lived in Republic, that was elementary, middle, and high school in the same one. So that was
wow. So it was that small.
Yeah. So it was all the same, within the same school. So coming here and we got all these different middle schools and elementaries and high schools and stuff. It was something that was like, I went to California for holidays and everything, but I was still little, so I didn't really get
where you
that.
go to school is really like,
yeah,
that's where you go through the most.
And so I think that's what had to do with it the most. And it was honestly a lot of people like, it was back in 2015 to 16, so that's when like Kyle and Futuristic were popping and coming through here.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Jeezy just started putting out his, first tapes and everything like that. And so that's kind of like, what was kind of there. And then it led me into like really digging and really finding out who runs this shit. Like it's cool to listen to this and kind of see what's popping and everything. But even at an early age, I wanted to know like who's running this shit. Who are the people who really started this? Because I knew that happened in rock. I knew there was this level, and this.
Yeah.
And so I knew that had to apply to everything. And so that just kind of slowly got me deeper and deeper into it to where I finally was like, I love this shit so much.
That's dope.
I have to do it.
So, like, what's the what's the process, man? Like with you, because you do a lot, right?
Yeah.
You play the guitar, you sing, you rap,
Yep.
you scream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're pretty multifaceted, bro. Like what's a process like when it comes to coming up with a new song or working on like a new project? Like what does that look like?
It's changed a lot, and I think anybody who really like focuses and creates and really takes the time to take it in a professional way and move it from a hobby to a passion and like a real profession of what you're trying to do with your life.
Yeah.
I think anybody who does that can relate as far as like it always changes, Yep,
it's evolving.
Yeah, of course. And so I'm learning new things. I'm learning, especially within the past few months of really doing the tape that I'm doing right now, it's changed a lot. Before, I'd say when I first started out, it was just simple as, find a beat, get a flow, but it was really trying to match who I listened to and I think that's a good way for a lot of artists to start out is take what you love, take what you listen to all the time, and whether you think you could do it or not, give it a shot and try and copy that a little bit.
And your favorite rapper is just, or artist is just a mixture of a lot of different things that influence them, right? So it's just like they came from, if it's like an older artist, like if you're 21 and you listen to artists that's like 35, they were listening to music that their dad listened to or whatever, or that was in their time, you know what I mean? And, and all they did was take a little bit of this dude's flow and a little bit of this melody and this dude's singing or whatever they're listening to, and you kind of mold it all together, man.
Exactly.
And so it's not like, it's like, oh, you biting somebody's style. When you're young and you're coming up and you're learning, it's valuable to kind of emulate somebody, and then you kind of just make it your own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's super cool because you're right. Especially when you're working on a different project, a lot of times the process won't be the same as the last project. Or you don't want it to be the same because you want something. You're going for something different.
Yeah, I think each time I put out, and I haven't put out music for a while. This is kind of right now is kind of like, I'm moving out there. I got this project ready, things like that. So things are about to start dropping again. But for a while, I cut back on the shows. I cut back on everything, and my process became not focusing on the end product of, once it got past the point, I did shows, I traveled and things like that. It got to a point, it's like, okay, well, now what are you really doing? So what do you, there comes a point where it's like, exactly, it goes from the hobby to the profession. And it's kind of, you have to ask yourself and look around you, the people around you, everything like that. And what are you doing? Where are you going with this, what it's leading to? And especially at a young age, that's kind of hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, it's super hard, man, because, it took me like 10 years of just bullshitting.
Yeah.
To even, be able to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because music for me came as like just a fun thing. You know what I mean? You throw a beat on, you just get high as fuck, and you just freestyle with your friends, saying words, trying to make them rhyme, trying to rap about shit they holding up, or looking around the room, or whatever. Because I think one thing is like, you got to have something to rap about.
Exactly.
You got to have something, like if you're going to put a lot of people want to put a project out or put a project together, but it's like they don't have anything to say.
Exactly.
It's like, I just want to be a rapper. I just want to be this thing, And
exactly,
it's,
man.
It's the people that literally have stories to tell.
Yeah.
That are the people that are most interesting.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
and that's actually taken me some time to figure out is, since I am confident in the fact, and I appreciate every compliment and everything, and I'm confident in the fact that I could do a lot of different things with music and everything, from instruments to singing to different vocal things. I can go into a studio and be asked to do certain things and can do it, and so I feel confident in that way. And sometimes you can get lost in the fact of, let me do so much with this song, and let me try and put so many things into this song. You kind of forget to tell your story.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I was forgetting to really have substance, but it just sounded fucking rad.
And that's see, that's the thing, is that there's so many moving parts in music, man. And and when you're talking about taking it more seriously than a hobby, the thing that's tough is you want to make it sound good. You want to tell your story, but then you also have to market it, and you have to worry about all these things. And sometimes it's really hard to be good at these things when you got to focus on these things, and then these things start to slip a little bit, or this starts to slip a little bit. And so, what I've found is like definitely having a team of people, you know what I mean, that you kind of assemble, that all are kind of going towards the same goal, that can pick up different roles and things like that.
Exactly.
That's what's, because artists need to be artists, and you need to be out there living life, so that way you have new stories to talk about, and then you need to keep working on your craft, so that way you can make it sound good.
Exactly.
But when the marketing comes in, you got only so much brain power that you can use. Yeah. So when you're worried about marketing it, and you're worried about numbers, or
man,
it can really get in your brain.
Drives you fucking
man.
Crazy, bro. I've sat, and that's what's held me back from posting music a lot. Is before I really got my mind wrapped around that. It takes, there's only so much you can be told without having to actually fuck up and learn from it.
Yeah.
You have to fuck up sometimes.
You have to.
You just have to. It has to happen. And so there's a lot of things I got told and a lot of things I believed, but I had to eat that. I had to swallow that. And I had to really realize a lot of things that I was doing or not doing and fix it. And just kind of, exactly. And I actually just got done with the studio yesterday, and a lot of it I'm very confident now that I've been telling a story and really putting aspects that I want in guitars and, a lot of, because I did orchestra in middle school. And so it's
That's
like,
dope, dude.
Yeah. So it's like, I like a lot of things, and now I got violins in my songs and guitars, and I want to get trumpets and different things like that.
So what all instruments you play? Guitar?
The main one's guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. I did orchestra. So I did viola when I was in orchestra.
So a little bit, kind of some basics and stuff.
And so I used to be able to write my own music and stuff like that, but I kind of, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But
you're so young, man. You could hop back right in there and be able to do all that.
And I want to, man. That's why it's like, I make this move. Even a year ago, it was like, I want to move to Seattle, and I was going to.
But so you've been slowly kind of setting in motion the plan to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it sounds like you're following through. So when are you leaving?
I'm leaving this Friday, actually, the 1st.
This Friday, the 1st. Oh, shit, bro.
No, man.
Yeah, that's super exciting, man, because you're going over there where there's much more opportunity. That's really what it is. That's what it comes down to. I mean, here it's just there's a lot of good people here. There's a lot of good music. A lot of people that love good music. But over there, bro, it's just more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think sometimes I try not to get too far into that thought, as far as like some people think there's nothing, and I know that's not what you meant, but some people do. They're like, there's nothing to do here, blah blah blah. There's been some great and amazing things put on here, and you know, built from here, from the ground up, and or brought here, whatever it is. And a lot of things run here, and they're great and they're amazing.
It's a great place to start.
It really
but
is.
But any artist that's trying to come up needs to get to that bigger city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's more venues, there's more artists to collab with, more producers, more. There's just more. I mean, that's just really what it is. The thing I like about Spokane is that it's such an untapped market for entertainment. Like, that's one of the reasons I want to start my podcast, because I'm just thinking, like, all right, if you're new to Spokane and you're like, yo, what kind of dope shit you guys got here? Is there like a hip hop kind of is there a cool podcast that people just bullshit and like I can learn about like local artists and shit? It's like, nah, nobody really does that, or nobody's doing it right.
Head over to Happy to Be Here, baby. And
so there's so much room for opportunity, man. And in Seattle, on the other hand, you got there's plenty of people doing everything.
Kind of oversaturated a little bit in certain
It's a lot of competition out there. You know what I mean? So you got to have your shit together. You got to the camera work, and but that's what's cool. More videographers, more people to just meet.
I think that's what some people, including myself, I worry about, and making sure that I don't do it, is that there's a lot of things out there. It's very saturated, but at the same time, it's saturated with a lot of people who don't know exactly what they're doing, or even a lot of times don't know what their end goal is, so that makes their whole process fucked up, because they don't even know what they're working for. So at the end of the day, they could do the show, they could work with this artist, blah blah blah.
But you're just kind of
you're just sitting in the fucking circle, and it's just gonna keep, you know. So there's a lot of people who do that, and it's saturated a lot of people who do that. So I think the people who know what they're doing and really take the time to put it together, and not try and rush things, and are good at what they do, stand out. You know,
bro. That's what inspires me for you, like from what you're doing, bro. Because like seeing such a young dude making a plan and then putting in the work and shit to get there, and now you're moving on Friday. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do for like the next year. You know what I mean? Especially with think about how many rappers, including myself, who don't know how to play an instrument. Really, like I used to play piano, I used to play stuff when I was a kid and stuff like that, but don't know any real instrument. Like I just do lyrics, I write and stuff like that. So that's so cool. At that shit, bro. Thank you, man. But it's so cool to be able to be able to get in there and lay that guitar down, or you know what I mean, do that trumpet. You know what I mean?
It really just kind of like, it goes from just getting behind a mic and doing something to really fully like immersing you into the whole experience. Because when you can, like, I made this one song, it's called In Between. I did an acoustic version of it, but I put it out. And so, but we went in, I wanted to fully rebuild the song. I wanted to just build it up and not just have it some acoustic kind of flat out verse, hook, whatever. And so we went in, and I tell you, 8 minutes of just, you know, the producer on the keyboard, Jimmy, shout out Amplified Wax, him on the keyboard. I got my buddy Colin on his guitar. I got me singing, playing acoustic, and then we got some drums going at the same time. And it's like, when you can live record that for 8 minutes of just vibing and soloing and doing this stuff, and really being able to play. So you're not just with the band, you're fucking in the band. And you're half of it because you're singing it and you're playing it. So it just like, it makes the whole process, it makes the music like your child, like you know, like dope, I birthed this, you know, fucking song of all these different layers. You had
to go. I mean, it takes a lot of time, man. It takes a lot of, and it's you. It's 100% you. That's dope, man. Damn.
It was a great experience. I really, I mean, and this is kind of admitting something to myself. I went in that bitch thinking I was gonna do 4 songs in 8 hours, which just, you know, is admitting how unexperienced and, you know, something I had to face myself and be like, wow. Usually I can knock that out when I go to certain places, or even when I'm sitting at home. Maybe it was the comfort, whatever it was. But I went in there and it slapped me in my face,
Different
man.
experience.
Just the process of really, like, what do you got? You know, let's see what you got. Get behind that shit. And, you know, instead of just like rapping on something, you're not just making a song for friends and for your city. You're focusing on everywhere. And not that you're trying to please everyone, but
you're making it for a bigger.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And so it puts that, all right, let me redo this again, or that doesn't sound good, or the pitch is off, or, you know, not having enough confidence.
Like,
in
let's
the
get it
final
right,
product.
you know?
Exactly.
So you're working with Jimmy. I've never worked with him before, dude, but I've heard so many great things about him and his studio and shit, and how he kind of takes you through the process to make, like, you know, real quality music. Because, because I remember he used to have the studio up by the Garland Theater. Amplify Wax was like right there, and I always saw it. I never went in there though, man. So what was it like a little bit?
You know, it's like an experience I've never had before. Usually I go to home studios, or I got my own studio. There's just certain parts about making a radio record that is like you don't focus on it. You know, you can go to a studio, you can throw a beat on, you can lay some vocals, you can mix it, you can do whatever, and it's a dope track.
So does he kind of ask you when you get there, like, you know, what are you trying to do with this?
Oh yeah,
song? Like, yeah, like just like gets the story of like, hey, dude, this is what I'm trying to do. This is gonna be like a commercial like hit, and this is what I'm, you know, that's what I'm going for, and then he can help.
Yeah, you know, you can go in there. Like, there was one song that I had, like I said, that we built. That was kind of whatever. But there was also songs that I had that was like, all right, I know the direction I want in this. I kind of already did a few demos. You know, that's what I think is a good idea, is demoing before you really go in there, because he'll push you, you know. He was like, well, let's try this melody. Or, you know, it took me so long, and the reason I couldn't record so many songs, I think, and, you know, not that I should have done so many songs in a short amount of time, but is he was like, well, why don't you try this out? And so we're having to flip melodies of things that I've muscle memoried for the past few months.
And trying it different.
And on the spot, and, you know, in the pressure, and in the room, and in the big studio. It's something that, you know, it really kind of, he puts you on that timeline, like,
dope. You're
an artist.
Yeah.
Be a fucking artist.
Let's
you know?
try different things.
Exactly.
Let's, you know, we got to figure out, because you go in there with a game plan, and then, you know, it's like, hey, let's throw that out the window. Because he's got an ear too.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, and it's cool to have that outside ear kind of, because we get in our own head. We got, like you said, it's muscle memory in there. It's stuck like that. I had this melody I was singing to my friends the other night, and they were like, all right, man, challenge. I want you to freestyle on this completely different.
Yeah.
You know, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Bro. I was sitting there like,
it happens, man. Yeah. No, I be testing myself like that, and it's like, damn, man, because that I feel like is a test of your real artistry. You know, like if you can go, like shout out TS and Django and Past Life Kenny and Matisse and everybody. I heard you were supposed to be on that show too. What happened?
Yeah,
man?
I was. Yeah, had to work.
I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel
it
you.
sucks.
But yeah, so shout out to them. When I hit that cipher and everything, I was excited. They had the cipher at the end of the show.
Yeah, I saw the video, bro. You looked like you were killing it.
I was like, bro, because, you know, it's like, there were going to be some people in there that just kind of went and freestyled, and that's cool and everything, but I saw it as an opportunity, real shit.
Yeah.
You know,
to
it's
take
like,
something that you had that you could really like put some shit on there and like really affect some people out there.
And honestly, like Rhythm and Flow just came out on Netflix, and so they had these competitions on there, like the battle, and give them a day to write a music video and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, they told me about it a couple days beforehand. I wrote a whole new verse and was like, all right, this is like my competition.
You wrote a whole
know?
new verse in a couple days?
Yeah. So I was like, and memorized
shit.
the shit, and then went up there, and so it was like, I forgot one line, but I was like, cool. You know, I kind of compare myself to that episode.
That's dope.
You know, and kind of just like, it makes it fun for me. You know, whatever, I feel like whatever you can do to make it fun and inspiring.
Get that
really
little challenge and just fucking throw it together.
Yeah, because I could have went up there and I could have spit a 16, I knew, or I could have freestyled and it could have been whack.
But it was more exciting because you just wrote it for this. Damn,
and then I got the crowd reaction, and it was cool. And it wasn't my show, and I didn't want to like take anything, and I didn't take anything because it was an amazing show.
Yeah.
I felt like I just added to it because I was one of the people that actually went up there and took it serious.
And that's what that cipher's for.
Yeah.
It's for people to get up there. That, you know, a lot of times, because they're like, hey, just come up.
Yeah.
You know, so it just, that's what's so cool about it is that you don't have to be a part of the show.
Nah.
Show's over, man. Now just come up here and showcase your
Hey,
skills.
just fix your shit, bro, and just have a good time. And that's like what it's all about. I miss going to, I did this one show in Pullman. It was like this house party, and it was just a cool ass vibe.
Would they have like a PA system or?
I don't remember. I just some sort of, regular kind of bullshit setup, but it bumped a little bit, and it was inside a house, and you know, a lot of people showed up, and it's just like those like close together vibes of just like having a good time. Everybody's feeling it, and everybody putting in effort. Nobody's slacking. Everybody's there to do the same thing, and that's to be an artist, fuck it up, have a good time.
That's it.
And spit your shit.
And just show that energy. Bring that energy, bro.
And that shit just like it, you know, if you're in there, and especially because nowadays when you do shows, it almost feels like 25% of the crowd is wanting to be on stage. You know, when you do a show anywhere, it feels like, 25% of the crowd is wanting to be in your spot. So that means almost close to half of your crowd, you're trying to please them almost a little extra just because they want to be where the fuck you're at.
Yeah.
So it's like they're going to look at you extra tough, like he's not doing this.
You
he's not
really
doing
got to
that.
separate yourself.
Yeah, you got to stand out, bro, because those people could, a lot of times there's somebody in the crowd who can get up and do it better. And I've been to shows where I've looked up on stage and been like, either I could do that better, or I look over at fucking John Doe and he can go up there and fucking do it better. So why the hell am I watching this dude?
And that's why I think like so I actually used to think a lot about in my own head, like, fuck, bro, like worrying about how I looked on stage. Like when I was getting on stage, I'm like, you know, I gotta, you know, make sure I'm doing like, and then I'm just like, I got to a point where I'm just like, bro, I'm just gonna like fucking just Jimi Hendrix that shit. If I'm
Yeah.
just up there, I'm just fucking getting into the
Feeling
music,
it, bro.
Just
Yeah.
fucking spitting, just getting, that way people can really see
Exactly.
that I created this. It's
Uh-huh.
my shit, and now I can just like get into it. And there's
Yeah.
no. With hip hop, there's a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
Put your fucking hands up. Hey, say this line with me,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think it's cool for people to be able to just kind of vibe out and like, and that's how our music is. Cause like you got the Djangos, and the cats who really get shit hype. You know what I mean? And that's how those shows are. They get fucking wild, bro. And I
Yeah.
love that shit. But with our music, because it's so much more mellow and chill, we kind of like just want to create a vibe for you. And you can just like be in that vibe. And I mean, we do the put your hands up and shit like that because it's fun.
Yeah, but it's if you feel it.
If you're feeling it, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't
and-
feel like forced to do certain things because you're like, oh, I feel like I have to do that.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
in the moment. And it's like every show you do, shows are so cool because it's a unique moment between you and whoever came to that show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that didn't show up. The record, people can go listen to it, 10 years later and be like,
Yeah.
oh man, you're dope. You're like, yeah, shit, I've been
dope.
doing this. Yeah, what do you mean? But the show is like a time where it's like, this will never be the same.
Yeah.
I'll never do this show the same. You're here right now.
Exactly.
We're sharing this energy. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think a lot of planned shit. You got to know your lines, but I think a lot of just being there and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Creating something new with
Exactly.
them. And that sounds like what you did at that cypher, bro.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, you can miss a line, you can do whatever, and I think people get in their head as far as like I'll see a lot of people go up on stage and they'll miss a line, but you can tell they miss a line. That's the whole point.
Dude, me and Matisse were just talking about that, bro. And I used to be like that so
Yeah.
much when it would be like, because I was just always so worried about it, bro. And now it's like, I think I was looking at one of my favorite artist pages or something, and they were like, or no, it was Everlast, and he was talking he was on Joe Rogan talking to him, and he said like, oh man, and he's like, I'll fucking line up, like all the, you know what I'm saying, like, so when you seeing people like these people have been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
They're gonna fuck a lineup,
Dude,
like,
it happens.
The fucking who cares?
And that's
part of the character of that unique moment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
this, like, oh shit.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's I think that's like, and I've done it too. I've gotten stressed out as far as like I'll get off stage and be like, fuck, dude.
Oh,
like,
you'll
I'm
beat yourself up over
Yeah,
just the
but
dumbest shit.
But exactly like what you said, if you go in there and like don't think about obviously have it planned out. I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna be here when this happens, and have your set planned.
Yeah.
No doubt. Rehearse every day before you do that, and
Yes.
just really get it down. But as far as when it's actually done, that's the whole point of rehearsing. You should have it muscle memory. You should know what you're doing.
That way, it's like that is like the foundation.
Exactly.
And then everything else you can just work out
Yep.
kind of freestyle there, as long as you're sticking to this like foundation.
Because what happened if you go up on stage and you get out there and you're 1, 2, 3 and a fucking water spills, and you got to worry about the speaker, and then you're like, oh shit, the speaker, and then you miss a line, and then you miss this, and half your song is gone. And you're like,
Yep.
fuck, dude, my whole
Things
performance
happen,
is fine. Yeah,
bro. I mean-
and it's like, so what are you gonna do in that moment? So it's like you got to have the first plan, you got to have the backup plan, you got to be able to freestyle and move off of just being creative and doing what you do because you're a fucking artist. So if you get up there, you should be able to.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know Sunreal? Do you know who that is?
I think so.
So he's an artist. He came to Spokane. I watched him, and yeah, man, he like fucked up a line and was like, he's like, yo, run it back. He's like, run it back. This is the first time I ever fucked up on tour, and it happened right now. Everybody cheered for
my
him.
God,
Like, you know what I'm
whatever,
saying?
bro.
He like just it was like, here, run it back again. I'm gonna fucking kill it, and then
Yeah.
and he ran it. But like, it was so in the moment right there.
Yeah.
He just like rolled it off and like
Yeah,
did it
yeah.
again. Was like, yo, listen.
Yeah.
He's like, I fucked it up. And guys, I don't fuck up on tour, and I did.
Yeah,
and everybody just cheered.
It makes it like I can relate. I just saw Greaves. Shout out Greaves. He,
Oh, yeah.
out in Seattle. He came out here with
love
Mouse
that dude.
Powell, I think. Yeah, and they fucking
Powell's
killed
dope.
it. Yeah, and so, but what I noticed, everybody performs different. Everybody has their different thing. But just like that, he was almost like having like a podcast like this within his performance. His set was 75 minutes.
Bro, and there's like comedy,
Yeah.
and like it's just so much charisma, and he's like
Exactly.
playing his fucking keyboard, and
Uh-huh.
like, bro,
And it just drags you in. It makes the crowd feel like,
Oh.
like by the end of the show, it's like, dude, I know this cat. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just spent an hour talking to this dude, not just listening to him spit in my fucking face for an hour.
Yep.
It makes the experience totally different. Even me as an artist, like I said, wanting to be up there 25% of your your crowd is all the time usually somebody wants. I want to be up there. I would love to have the crowd that he had.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I left there like, damn, that dude is good.
Yeah, and
Like-
he deserves to be in that position.
Exactly.
And that's exactly where you're going to be, bro. I think that him, like especially with Greaves, him being up there, being able to play out some of his songs, you know what I mean, on the keys.
Yeah.
And then and really like when you do it all the time, you're so comfortable in your element that you can just have fun. Like you're not really worried about things that you're worried about when you first coming up. Oh, I gotta remember my lines. Like, you're not like, bro, I do this, I'm in a different city every night.
Exactly.
And when it's like that, it's so much easier, I'm sure, to just be up there and
just have fun.
have fun.
Yeah. No, I
So-
appreciate that, man.
So what kind of music do you have out right now?
What kind of music do I have out? I have
Like, do you have an album? Do you just have a couple
No.
singles, SoundCloud? What?
So it's been an interesting ride. It's been a very interesting ride. I got a few songs coming once I get out to Seattle. For the past year, everything kind of got stripped. It was kind of one of those little rebuild times. Sat back, I worked, I kind of got my life together. I didn't get too far in it to where it was like, if you take this time off, I was still young. I didn't get too far into it where it's like, you can't step back. You can't take a break or else you're going to lose it all. I didn't really have that much. So it was like, I really could take that time.
You had that time to be able to just hey, let me step back. Let me perfect this shit how I want it to be and roll it out right.
Exactly. So I have a few songs that's, on SoundCloud. If you want to check it out, it's Anthony Naseeb on everything. I think there's one on YouTube also, along with a couple podcasts.
That's right. You have a podcast, right?
It's in the works. Cause like I said, this music has been the main focus. Going to Jimmy's, getting this project done. I just shot with a couple photographers out in Seattle. Out here though, right before I moved. So,
who's that you shot with?
I shot with Q Prez. He's out in
right.
Seattle, and then
Q Prez, I've heard of him.
My buddy Michael is from Tri Cities. So we knocked out this little acapella. But yeah, man, I've been focused on the music. The podcast has been about music. When there's a topic that comes up, and that's kind of been the hard is the transition of. I gotta move everything, so everything's just kind of been packed and stuff like that. And so once I get out there and I can set up and I can get my studio back and get everything like that, then it's like, all right, let's.
Because what was that last podcast about? It was about like our local shows worth it or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Were you talking about like local artists, or were you talking about? Or yeah, that is what you're talking about, right? Like a headlining show from like a local artist or something.
Not even local events as far as it could be anything.
So it could just be like a big name coming to town, or like.
I think I was thinking about everything as far as charity events to what's happening to, what are we really doing for the city?
So just events in general.
Events in general. I've hosted, a few years back, we hosted a kickball event that we donated backpacks to a bunch of kids around the city and everything like that.
Fuck, a kickball event. That sounds dope.
Yeah, and it was fun, so it's like little events like that. Are they worth it? Are they really supplying anything for the city? And the questions that I got from people and that I asked people were, is it worth your money? Is it worth the time? Are you getting anything from it? Because, that's the thing that businesses think about when they put on those events and everything.
Like, is this worth it to the people to come out and be a part of this and to donate?
Yeah.
And then is what we're doing impacting in the right ways to the city?
Or at all,
all.
Yeah. And I think is a lot of events, even if you touch part of the town and you get 50 people bumping, you're still impacting and everything, and you don't have to donate to impact or anything like that. But it's these certain events where you go to, and it's these artists where I've been on 12-person lineups, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we supplying? 15?
I like that you're always thinking about the end goal and thinking about why are we doing? Are we just fucking doing this to do it, bro? I got shit to do.
I've always been like that, and
that's dope.
It fucks with me, man, because sometimes you overthink and you get anxiety, and because you're just thinking about what's gonna happen. What am I gonna get to?
You keep trying to predict shit.
Yeah, and so it's ruined relationships, it's ruined friendships, but I've learned to put it in the right directions to where now it's like, all right, I know what I'm doing, so nobody's gonna come in here and tell me that this is wrong, because everybody works out situations in different ways, and if I work it out this way, then fuck you, I'm gonna.
And that's
do
a liberating feeling, bro, to really be confident in your abilities and in your decision making.
It
and
is.
You're listen, man, because when we're young, when we're kids, all we're doing is fucking relying on other people. You know, like, I need that money, mom. Like, I'm trying to, you know, hey, I'm trying to get these shoes. I'm trying to, you know, I'm always just trying to, I had to ask everybody for everything. Oh, you're not old enough. And then like when you're trying to figure out life, bro, that's what's inspiring to me, dude. Cause you're so young, bro. You're going to do big shit.
Yeah.
Because you got so much, like, you know, so much right now and you got so much, like, I'm 32.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have so much more. By the time you get to where I'm at, you're going to be fucking killing it, bro.
Thank you, man.
So that's dope, man. But taking the move to Seattle, bro. What part of Seattle are you moving to?
So I'm gonna be in Olympic Hills, kind of by. It's kind of like in the 120th by the, you know, that area.
Oh, okay,
in the streets, in the THs, you know, if we're talking those
the
up there.
THs.
It's on like the north side of Seattle.
Dope.
So I'll be in the city and everything. It'll be really cool. I'll have my Seattle address and everything. You know, I'll officially be in the city. I already got a couple, you know, like job interviews lined up, you know, because I got to work too, man. I got to get my 9 to 5
You got to
going.
keep that rent.
Yeah, so
that
that
rent ain't no joke out there, bro.
So, you know, I'm going to get, you know, college out the way, things like that, and just really just have a good time, man. Go out to shows, work with artists. You know, I'm talking to Tezza Talks. Shout out Tezza Talks. Linking up with her on a couple tracks, and just have fun. Just take it serious, but have fun. You know, do what I'm doing out here, which is I've been doing nothing but taking it serious. And it's gotten to a point where out here, you know, I'm taking it so serious that I weigh myself down, and I
don't even know what it was. It was like you just like popped up on my radar. Like I didn't even know, like, because I always try. I really, you know, especially through Instagram, like just try to keep up on what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's making music? Who's doing dope shit? Especially with the podcast now. And you just popped up on my radar randomly. Like I never heard of you before, and I'm just like, what's this guy doing?
Man, it's funny because I've known you for a while. I mean, I've been. It's been a long time, bro. I've been doing it since I was young, like 15.
Wow.
And so I did my first show with Elijah when I was 15. Django. Sorry,
Oh,
you know, that's my brother, bro. That's my brother. So, but shout out Django. Yeah, it shows with Django since I was 15, and so first show was at the Pen. I just did it in front of a whole bunch of kids from CV. You know, like, hey, come fucking watch me rap my songs.
Yeah.
And you know, they were shitty, but not at the time. You know, at the time, exactly that. If you just bring the vibe, and you know, I got on stage with I had green camo pants with a black button up that was shining in that bitch, shining under like my hair was like back. And I had tan Tims on. I got Air Forces on right now. I thought I had Tims. Yeah, bro. And I just went on that bitch and just rocked it. And I remember there was this one dude, and this was honestly important to me. This was like very, very important to me. Is there was this dude in a Seattle jersey, shout out Seattle, in the fucking front row. And fuck you, and you know, you fucking suck. This fucking sucks. And I'm 15, and so I'm just, you know. I forgot what song it was. I think it goes like Rhythm of the Night, and it's fucking going, and I'm hitting my shit, and everybody's feeling it, but he's fuck you, you suck, and I look over, and I'm just like fuck you, man, you know, right in the middle
Getting
of my
heckled,
set.
bro.
Yeah, and then I just keep going, but I'm like fuck you, man, and it was just this huge learning experience for me of like, what are you gonna do? Because there's always gonna be people like that, no matter what age I am, no matter how good I am. I could go up there, I could play the guitar, the drums, and the viola at the same fucking time,
and you could have
shit my pants.
You could
on
have
stage.
98 people, fucking 99 people fucking
Bro,
with it, and one dude.
Yeah,
like, just
and there's
hating
always one dude, whether they're vocal about it or not. There's somebody who's just gonna not like it.
He's
and
probably part of that 25% of people that want to be in your
Oh,
position.
he was an older guy, and you know, I really don't know what his problem.
Or because you're a kid, you know, and that's the other
Yeah.
thing, man. Is it like, you know, that's the scary part for kids to get up and do shit like that, because they're like, oh fuck, you know, am I any good? I'm probably not any good. Like, people, what if some dude says fuck you, my shit sucks while I'm up there, you know? So that's inspiring in itself to just get out there, bro. Just get up there and just fucking be making it happen.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate
damn,
that.
15 years old out there fucking getting it, dude.
And you know, that's when I was like, we talked about earlier. Shout out, you know, the mosh pit on YouTube. Hopefully, I can get that taken down one day.
Hey, bro, that's a unique
gem,
piece of
man.
history right there.
It got. I had an HD PVR, so I was doing video game commentaries on like Modern Warfare 2 and shit like that.
Oh,
Modern
dope.
Warfare 3. I had video game commentaries. I had Screaming, Asking Alexandria covers, and you know, like,
you've just been making fucking content,
Yeah.
like since a young age.
Well, honestly, what got me, my sister showed me Shane Dawson back in 2012.
Okay, I
And
don't know who that is.
You don't know who Shane Dawson
No,
is?
I don't think so.
Oh my god, man, he's been around for a while, but he used to. I mean, he makes kind of okay videos now. But back when his content was just kind of like regular, he was a really insecure guy. Had the long hair. I had long hair too. I used to have this long. I used to straighten my hair, bro. So
you just had like the
yeah, because I
that.
got some pretty wavy. I'm Portuguese, so I got some pretty like wavy hair. So I had to
Okay.
straighten that shit, and it just kind of like
You had like the emo hit.
yeah.
like,
And so that was just
yeah.
kind of me, man. But I was into Shane Dawson, and it was just like this community of people that I saw that just dressed up in costumes and acted like different people and talked certain ways and everything like that. But it was a job, and to me that was just like I took drama in middle school and I did the orchestra, and I wasn't the weird kid. I was popular. I talked to a lot of people, but at the same time I liked weird shit. I would wear weird shit, and people wouldn't like it, but they would still talk to me.
So did you
know?
wanted to get into like drama and stuff like that?
Hell
You
yeah.
were interested in that when you were.
Hell yeah, that's my goal when I got out of Seattle is get back into like theater, and when I go to college and go into theater and everything like that, and just
Jesus,
really get
bro,
some
you
like,
got such a fucking. It's so
that,
dope,
bro. That's trying to want to do everything and control that, and not being that dude like you talked about earlier. You as an artist, you need people that are around you, and you need people that do and play different roles. I shouldn't be on my social media the only guy that and certain things like that, and the only guy that's doing this, and the only guy that's trying to promote and get myself in this. There comes a time where I hope there's certain things where I don't have to do. And I think there will become a time if I stay persistent.
because when you just don't want to be bothered with. Because no matter who you are, the like numbers will get to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're like, you made some content, and as an artist, everything you make is really, important. It means a lot. And then when you put it out there and it doesn't get the reaction that you want, then that can fuck with you. And really, as an artist, in my opinion, I feel like you just need to be focused on creating art. That's it. You don't need to fucking worry about the numbers, and like there should be somebody else marketing your shit and somebody else handling numbers and trying to brainstorm how to get more views or whatever it is, because social media is a bitch, and you can like just pound your fucking head against the wall trying to figure out trying to figure it out when you just need to just like you're dope
like, bro,
at making
I just want to
content.
put out a fucking song, man. I just want to make music and put it out.
I just want people. I think the biggest thing for artists is we just want people to hear it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, whether you like it or you're like, oh, fuck, I wasn't really into that, whatever.
Yeah.
We just want the opportunity for you to hear it. Now, that's a saturated market.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you would buy a fucking CD at like Sam Goody or something for like $14 or something like that. And there was like a real value around music, right?
Yeah.
And then ever since like streaming and stuff, it's kind of like,
everybody wants a new song in 4
and
days.
everybody can create a song. Anybody can get a SoundCloud. Anybody can
Yep.
really put their music on Spotify.
I mean, bro, you can YouTube MP3 a beat and just go into a studio and just do that and lay it out. You don't need track outs. You don't need this. You don't need to even play an instrument. Yeah, you can just buy shit. There's been beats that I've listened to where I'm like, bro, I could be a full fucking rock band and be on my fucking rock and roll shit, and I don't even need to talk to nobody. But that
And that's crazy because back in the day, man, you had to play everything out. You had to do these things, and with the internet, that's kind of what sucks, man. Is that when there's more people doing it, then it just kind of lessers the value. You really have to stand out that much more to get through all the.
Yeah, like that's what sucks about being like like I was like a punk kid, so it's like I mean ever since I was like 8 or 9, it's been like just so it's like when I grow up like that, and then I come up here and it's like shout out Lil Peep and everything, but it's like when there's certain things, and it's like being this young and in this generation of people that are just doing certain types of music. There's some real artists out there, but at the same time there's some fucking annoying
And the question I asked, I think it was last year or something like that. I asked, is there such thing as bad music?
Yeah.
Is there such thing as a bad movie? Is there such thing? And when it comes to art, the consensus kind of was like, no.
Yeah.
Like nothing can be bad if something is good to somebody else.
If it's pure.
But I was arguing like, no, I've heard some bad shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I my thought about that. That's a very good question. Is because exactly. But if it comes from the heart and you meant that shit, even if you're talking about whatever you're talking about, but as long as you mean that shit, and I can understand that shit.
I mean, like that song, like Remember that song that dude did, the She Bang song, or just like any of those viral songs that were just like, you know what I mean? Just dumb, but they just like, you know, some people fuck with it.
Sometimes it's not the words, man. Sometimes it's just the feel that it gives you. I've listened to a lot of songs. I mean, even I understand the words, but the Drake and Future album,
I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, I forgot. But it's like, there's one song, Diamond, Diamonds on me dancing. That shit is like, doesn't mean
just
shit.
how it makes you feel.
But yeah, just the bass hitting
to
and
it,
like everything. It's like sometimes it's just the pure like joy of listening to it.
There's something crazy about like giving your life a soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like what music is. Like when you're like when you got off work and you're fucking driving down the road and shit like that. And you feel good. You're like, I'm off work. Motherfucker just picked up a fucking bag, rolled this blunt now. You know, and then you put on like whatever that song is. Like basically, that's kind of how I think about it. Especially when I'm high, bro. I'll be like, all right, man, I'm about to set the soundtrack for this moment right now. Because like, think about it, bro. Like when you're like in a movie, they add the little shit. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, it brings up the mood. It changes the like music changes the whole vibe, even if it's just some orchestra,
Bro, I know exactly, because I feel like, me personally, you know, I think that's why I allow myself to do certain things that I do that normally it's just kind of I question, is that sometimes you just got to think about your life as a movie, man. You know, you got to talk to that girl, to make that move, to get that job, to get that promotion. Like, sometimes you just got to think about, like, if this character, my favorite character, if you're thinking about, like, I mean, I like good movies, so, like, 16 Candles or, like, some shit like that. You talk about that, and you're like, I want to get this girl, I want to do this, or I need this job to get this, or this car. It's like, I feel like the thing that's holding people back is they don't think they can see themselves doing it, you know? But it's like, if you think about it as a movie, it's like, I can see a character doing that.
Because people have a problem, like until they've done it, they don't know if they can do it or not. And I think that's cool for like like you can listen to some music and like get yourself into it. You'd be like, oh no, man, I'm about to fuck this shit up. I'm about to go fucking ask this. I'm gonna ask her out right now.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
that shit. Like music can change your fucking life, bro. Exactly. It's like I don't know anybody who doesn't like some form of music.
Something.
You know what I mean?
And I respect all kinds of music. I grew up around country and hard metal songs. And then my mom listened to a lot of Justin Timberlake and Neo. And
so you have the whole fucking
and so,
thing.
you know, I'm so sick of love songs while I'm just like, you know, fucking raging against the machine. And it's just like some fucking cool shit. But it's
that's
like
badass.
It's cool and I like it. You know, Fall Out Boy to Panic at the Disco, you know, like different things.
Bro, I'm influenced by a lot of country music, dude.
Yeah.
Like I listened to a lot of country music when I was a kid, because that's what I like had.
Yeah.
I had like old school rock and like country albums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Alan Jackson and shit like that. And I think that like the country records, I think, is where I actually picked up a lot of my like the ability to like songwrite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I really appreciate the structure of a country song, where it's just like they got the hook, it's real catchy, and then the lyrics are well thought out and placed, and you know, it's just
I know what you're saying,
in the right ways to get the message to you. And so to just take those aspects of it, because a lot of rappers, you ask a lot of rappers, I fuck with anything but country. You know, like people don't really fuck with country.
Man, I hate that shit, and it's just I really do. I hate that, because it's like, then are you an artist, or are you just trying to make money? Or
I mean, if you genuinely don't like it,
I
get it. But if you're trying to like not fuck with like a certain type of music because you think it's uncool, or you're just not giving it a chance, like just don't be like ignorant to some shit, right?
Exactly.
Like listen to, if you're a musician, you should listen to some jazz, you should listen to some old shit, you should be listening to new shit. You should be listening to a whole array, or maybe nothing. I don't know. I know some artists who just they do like extremes, right? And they I'm not listening to anything. I don't listen to shit.
I get that too.
I don't want to be influenced at all. So
Exactly.
I listen to nothing, bro.
Yep.
You know.
I mean, I respect all
I listen to
sides
talk
of it.
radio, and that's it. Or you know what I mean? Like, and that's like
funny.
some real artist shit too.
Yeah.
Like I remember my buddy, he was trying to make like the dude that does a lot of the production for us. He was trying to do like a beat tape, and he was trying to get this whole like the whole thing to be this certain vibe. So he's like, don't send me anything. He's like, I can't listen to anything. So that's fascinating to me. Like, you know, to get in, and that's how, because a lot of times, man, the songs I write are not 100% my life.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like a movie, like you were saying. Like you create a character, or maybe it's you and you're just kind of exaggerating yourself into a character or something like that. Right. But I'll take like a piece of an old relationship that I really went through, and then I'll take, you know, maybe something that I saw on a movie or a friend, or maybe something that I'm just making up to like just create this story. And I think that a lot of people think that it's like 100% your life. So when you had people like Eminem and shit who were rapping about crazy shit, right? And it's like, no, like he's not shoving women in trunks and fucking doing crazy, but he's creating this movie,
this mental picture of
this sonic movie, like that you're like, and when you would listen to his record, you would like the visuals it would paint in your head, bro. Like it was fucking crazy.
Like you're just shoving your fist in Britney Spears' ass, and it's just like, dude, I fucking love this shit, man.
And he would,
no, man, I really like to cover a couple points, and like that one, you know, like with the country music, if you just don't like it, I wanted to say, you know, like, is art bad? You know, is any art bad? Just like that. But then also just with the creating mental pictures and everything like that, I think that's super important. If you could you don't even have to really say too much. And I've been working on a lot of music recently to where a lot of times I like to fill up a song. I like to have a melody here and a verse here and then a melody on top of the verse and then just kind of like vocals in the back. And so I have very filled up, cool sounding songs, but then sometimes I miss the substance. And so I've been trying to find this middle ground of slowing it down, you know, say a word here on this 2 and then wait a 2 and then hit that one and then, or even wait a 4 and then just kind of like really separate my words and have them just hit more
so
and
that
really
way the more,
say something. Yeah. And then it gives time for people to have this mental picture of what I'm talking about. It'll give that 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars to have you be like, have what I said and then picture it real quick.
And I think you can do that like, so there's 2 parts to it. Like one part where you're just like, you hear a song and the hook's fire and the beat's fire and you kind of just vibe and it's just creating that energy around you, right? And it's not really painting a picture with the content that's super descriptive, right? It's just creating a vibe, right? And that's where sometimes you'll say, oh, it lacks substance or whatever, but it's equally as important and enjoyable as like something where somebody's more lyrical and like more just like you're getting into like, you know, how you're structuring the lyrics is really painting a picture to where somebody is really relating to what you're saying or whatnot. But sometimes it's just like you just get a fire ass song, bro, that I don't even really listen to the lyrics like so much, you know. It's not, that's not what it's about. So I think there's a saying like, fuck, I wish I knew what it was. It was like you listen to the lyrics when you're fucking sad or something like that, and then like when you're hyphy, you just listen into the beat and the, you know what I mean, type of shit, right?
Yeah. No, I could feel that because there'll be certain times where, I mean, there's just certain songs for different moods, you know. I remember going to basketball games, wrestling, you know, tournaments and things like that when I was younger. They play "Eye of the Tiger" or something like that, and I'm coming out and Brendan Pena, "Eye of the Tiger," and it's just like, boy. But if they was playing some Six Flags, did I just say Six Flags? If they was playing some Black, cut that out. Man. I ain't trying to say that shit. Shout out my man Black, man. But yeah, if they play some like Black and some J. Cole shit and, you know, Pretty Little Liars or something.
I mean, you want that shit that's gonna hype you up. Exactly. But then the same thing, bro. Like when you going through that fucking breakup, you can really accentuate those emotions when you're throwing on that fucking Neo or that Usher, and you get, you know what I mean.
There's some old tapes of me just like really breaking down to Soak or, you know, Closer by Neo and just like really breaking it down. That's just my childhood, bro. Listen to that shit or Stomp the Yard. Neo was in that movie and Chris Brown and everybody and just like those type of things. It's like it feels so good sometimes to just like get those memories, especially like when I go out to Seattle and everything. There will be certain times where I need to watch movies and things like that and listen to certain music and, you know, just smell something or just like have a certain food where it just like it makes you feel a certain comfort and at home and just.
And then you can like harness that and then see if you can take that feeling and then recreate that for other people to enjoy. That's like a real skill.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you think about when you're writing a song. do you want to be writing like all your music like in the same room, like if you're at your house all the time or you're in your studio, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's important to get outside and to maybe sit on a park bench and observe life.
Yeah.
And it's like natural people walking by and shit, and you kind of got the beat on the headphones, and
Yeah.
you know, and you kind of pull in from what's around you. You're not just in the same four walls, just trying to write something.
I get stuck in that. I get heavy stuck in that because I'll be sitting in my apartment and I'll just be like, man, exactly. Like, you know, you got to see something different. And sometimes even being in this city, sometimes people get a little closed-minded. Is like, I've known a lot of people that haven't even gone outside of Spokane their whole entire life. And they're a good, you know, good age where it's like you should have gone a couple places at least just to kind of, you know, experience something. Yeah. And, you know, I think that's a lucky thing that I got at a young age. I was able to go, you know, to Portugal and see like my culture and stuff like at like 15. And then I was, you know, my sister was in Germany for a certain time. So I went to Germany and was able to fly back alone and do all this different stuff. And so I was really, you know, lucky to do certain things like that at a lucky age. And I think just see certain things and be able to be like, all right, like, yeah, I do need to get out.
Because you need to see that people, you know, there's a vast different people, cultures, like all sorts of shit, man, you know. And that's where, like, when people are stuck in one spot, man, you got someone that's been in Spokane their whole life, and then maybe they don't, you know what I mean, when they get over to the East Coast and there's much more different cultures and just all sorts of different people together, like, oh, you uncomfortable because you're used to just being around who you know, right? So it's good to be out here, like, oh, you know, these are all, like, people are people, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you get people that sometimes will get closed-minded, whether it's like, you know, like racism or like they don't like people of other religions and shit like that, because maybe they've never, you know, had the opportunity or open themselves up to like sit down and have a conversation with somebody of a different religion or a different skin color or a different, you know what I mean, in a different place. Like, if you're a country person, it's like, you know, go sit down, talk to some people from the city. Like, you know, that way you can, you know, like, you should like, I'm all about having friends that are into different shit. Like, I'm not just trying to fucking hang out with like a bunch of me's.
No, yeah.
You know what
exactly,
I mean?
bro. Exactly. I think I don't know. You know, I've had to cut some people off and had to do some, you know, some things and just grow as a person.
You have to do that.
You have to, man. And sometimes it sucks. And sometimes, you know, I feel bad.
It does suck.
I love everybody. You know, I don't think there's a person in this world that I hate. You know, even, you know, father things, whatever, family, certain things. I don't hate nobody. You know, it's just, it's too much to keep that shit in your heart. And I think I got lucky at a young age to learn that kind of shit. Because a lot of people do that for a long time, and I think it just eats away at them. And it creates this mindset of they'll get stuck doing the same thing, seeing the same stuff, and not wanting to leave because they're comfortable, and but they're comfortable within being uncomfortable. It's like they'll go crazy within the spot that they see every day, and they don't want to leave, but they're going crazy.
Bro, and that comfort zone is a motherfucker.
Yeah,
dude.
that to me drives it. It's something that I still am trying to like understand, because I see people going through it all the time, and I feel like I've gone through it, but at the same time, I feel like I do a pretty good job of like knowing when, like, dude, you need to leave.
And that's why I think that, like, these conversations, when people can listen and they can be like, oh shit, you know,
yeah, like I feel that,
and then they can kind of look, because sometimes, like we were saying, it's just like having somebody outside of your shit, to just kind of show you and be like, oh shit, for real, oh yeah, you're right, you know, because you're just in your own world all the time.
Yeah, I think you can go crazy in your own world, man. I've drove myself absolutely insane, just being stuck in my own world, not getting other opinions. So it's like, even if I make music, like, I have to. I don't want to show nobody, because I like to keep that shit to myself and, you know, keep it a secret until I let it out. But I have to, because you just need, you know, you need other opinions. Or I think it's very good. I talk to myself a lot. I have full-on conversation with myself.
Me too.
I'll look in the mirror and I'll talk to myself, bro.
I'm glad to know that it's not just me,
bro.
Because I do that shit too.
And I talked to my mom about that too. Me and my mom are a lot alike, and I'm very close to my mom. I'm a fucking mama's boy. Shout out my mom, man. And you know, it's just like, it's good, it's organic, and it's you to sit there and look at yourself purely, and not, you know, because you always walk around, or at least me, I always walk around thinking the faces I make or the way I'm talking or my lips look a certain way, but really I'll look in the mirror after a long day and be like, oh shit, like, that's you, bro. So, so, you know, it's like, I think it's good to take that time after a long day or before. You know, there's been a lot of important things I've been doing, you know, recently, and big stuff to where I've had to sit down and be like, you got this. You know, like, it's okay. Even moving, I had my last day of my job last Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah, because you're going to get doubts and shit like that, like anybody.
And you just have to talk to, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And I think it's a great mentality to have. Nobody's going to do nothing for you as far as when it comes to building yourself. But some people know that, but they don't put that into their mental state. And it's like, no, you gotta talk to yourself. You gotta let yourself know. Like,
you gotta
bro,
check yourself.
Exactly.
You gotta be like, man, like, why are you acting like a bitch?
And if you could
Why
be
are you
the one to
doing
check
this?
yourself, bro.
Because I'm
perfect.
And to be honest, man, like a lot of motherfuckers don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, so like people don't want to hear about your bullshit. So it's like up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you grown, it's up to you to like, you know, have a conversation with yourself and be like, all right, man, like I could be better here.
Yeah.
Because really it's just like we are our creative character, man. You trying to get new points and new attributes to
Yeah.
raise up and get better at certain things in your life. So it's like when people are lying to themselves and shit, it's like
The worst.
you're not helping. No, I mean this is just you, bro.
Yeah, I've caught myself doing it. I've lied to I think that's what that break really was, is, not lying to myself, not being like I'm some fucking...
Figuring it out.
Yeah, like I'm not that dude, because you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. So there's no chance I could even be
Yeah,
that
humbling
guy.
yourself, man, and being like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude, I got a lot to learn. And, being like, this isn't going to, being stubborn and shit isn't going to help me grow.
Nah. I see way too many people who are stubborn and just like, fuck that, man. I make good music. It's like, well, what are you doing with the music? Fuck that, bro. I don't need a plan. I got good shit. It's gonna go where it goes.
Well, this is,
All right, bro.
and you get to surround yourself with new art. I think that's a good thing, man. Is like you can, like what we were just saying, but you can, you're gonna get in Seattle, man. You link up with some new artists and just in general, even here, man. Meeting other people I get on the podcast, people I do music with, man. It's cool to, we're interested in similar things. And then I learn so much from people, and I just try to keep myself open to like learn.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course. That's what I came here for. And I think that's a perfect way to close it out. Almost,
There it is, brother. Yeah.
I think that's perfect. And that's what I came here for. I'm fucking happy to be here, man.
Let the people know what's up, man.
Yeah,
Let 'em
it's
know.
Anthony Naseeb, man. Listen, I got some music coming. Stay to the podcast. Everything's Anthony Naseeb. I'm easy to find. ANTHONY NASEEB, baby. Everywhere. I'm fucking happy to be here, man. I'm glad I came. I'm glad I got to talk to you, everything like that. It's been a good time, and I'm high, man. So rock and roll, baby.
All right, there it is, yo. Anthony Naseeb moving to Seattle. He's in Spokane till Friday.
Yes, sir.
So, this probably won't be out until you're in Seattle. So,
Yeah, it's
if
all
you're in
good,
Seattle,
man.
holla at him.
Yeah.
And, all right, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
And really, like, when you do it all the time, you're so comfortable in your element that you can just... you can just have fun. Remember that song that dude did, the She Bang song?
It's a dope track.